Our company, Dynaprice, has started an internal venture called Learning Advancement. It's pursuing the development of next-generation data systems for education. We've enhanced our own systems design tool, Dynaspecs, to help us do this. We're focusing on the problem of future school operations, how to manage a mix of self-paced, custom-tailored, independent study with the group activities needed to build interpersonal skills, and how to do so within specified resource constraints. This presentation will describe our approach to that problem and will demonstrate use of our Dynaspecs web app to help us solve it. First, some background on our company. Dynaprice is an established provider of data services to Fortune 500 companies in the US and Europe. We provide cloud-based systems that help each large firm manage, redeploy, and sell its surplus production equipment. Our clients work with very different kinds of equipment and use very different business rules in managing their operations. It would have been a major problem to build and maintain different custom versions of software for each of our clients. We solve that problem by creating our Dynaspecs tool. It has two parts. First, we use its web app to collect the different design and operating parameters for each client. Then we click a button and run its application builder program. This program applies a client's parameters to skeletal computer code templates and builds out that client's fully customized system. It does it in about 3 seconds. We figured this architecture would work well in education, where detailed curricula, school facilities, and teaching preferences vary just like our clients' product lines, inventory records, and deal-making procedures. So we enhanced our Dynaspecs web app to support systems design in education, specifically for the predictable future of school operations. What do we think they'll be like? They won't be today's lesson plan classroom teaching, and they won't only be self-paced but solo online learning, as with MOOCs. We believe they'll evolve into a churning mix of the two. Here's one view of what they'll look like. This is from the nonprofit group New Classrooms. You see team teaching with many varied group and self-study activities all going on at the same time, and each changing frequently and often unpredictably as groups complete assignments and individuals advance at different rates and with different needs for remediation, enrichment, or coaching. Managing all these moving parts is more than any one human or team of teachers can handle. A system is clearly needed. The question is, how do we design a school operations system with so many variables? We start with clear-eyed problem analysis. Some things, like the groupings and activities, are constantly changing. Others are relatively fixed, namely the education goals, such as those in the Common Core, the learning objectives prerequisite to reaching them, best visualized as a flowchart, and the assessments measuring mastery of each objective, with right and wrong answers feeding back to targeted learning objectives. These three things are all independent of how subjects are taught or learned. They, and the various linkages and relationships among them, form the infrastructure for systems design. Upon this foundation, Each school can select its own set of teaching learning activities for its own program of instruction. Each activity may be a group lesson plan or a program of independent, maybe online study. Each has specified content or media, and each addresses one or more learning objectives. We call each of these instructional entities a curriculum module. Each module must also be associated with the resources it requires, so that rules for its selection and scheduling can fit with a school's operational constraints. These things together specify the framework within which school operations can be managed. Our Dynaspecs web app is used to capture all these specs as parameters for its application builder program. Finally, we need a concept of how a school operation system would actually work. We see students flowing through a network, something like a prerequisite flowchart of learning objectives, via individualized paths of self-paced work intertwined with dynamically specified group activities. We believe that requisite group activities will be dynamically scheduled, assembled as and when enough students become ready for them, as each student advances on his own path of self-paced study. This model reverses the common practice today, which just tacks self-paced study onto calendar-scheduled, lesson-planned group activities. To help us understand the scheduling issues involved, we created a software simulation. This shows the key elements of our Dyna-curriculum simulator, its flowchart of prerequisites, mixing group and independent activities with teacher coaching and peer tutoring, and the sample resource requirements specified for each included curriculum module. This simulator was run, revised, and rerun many times. It helped us identify and test many of the parameters and rules needed for dynamic scheduling of groups and resources within our model of school operations. Our Dynaspecs web app is the most efficient way to gather all these specs for a blended learning management system based on this model. Our accompanying video, Tools for Designing Blended Learning in Flipped Classrooms, describes and demonstrates our Dynaspecs web app. Please take a look at this video now. Thank you.